Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Gnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapata Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrijatam Saganaragunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya, Naram Chaiva Narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayamudiraye Srinvatam Svakata Krishna, Punyashravana Kirtana, Nityandastoya Bhadrani, Vidunati Suhritsatam, Nashtaprayesva Bhadreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Shri Vyasadeva, the author. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma super soul in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Bol. Hare Krishna Praveen Prabhu Tanda Pram Jai Śrīla Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Swami Prabhu, Hare Krishna Rishikesh Prabhu, Dhanavad Prabhu, Jai Sri Prabhupada. So, where were we yesterday?
Here Prabhu. 234, 334, 11.
I can start.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay, let us continue from text 11. So, Rishikesh Prabhu, do you want to start today's reading session?
Yes, Prabhu.
Sure, carry on.
Text 11. Sabhajayan vishuddhena chetasata chikrshitam prahishyam manair ashubhi kardamam chedam apyadat Sabhajayan worshipping Vishuddhena pure Chetasa with a heart that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chikrishitam, the intended activities, Prashishya Mahanai, the glad and Ashubhi with senses Kardama to Kardama Muni, Cha and Devoti. Idam, this Abhyadat spoke. Translation purport by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki. Translation. After worshipping the Supreme Lord with gladdened senses and a pure heart for his intended activities and incarnation, Brahma spoke as follows to Kardama and Devavati. Purport. As explained in Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter, anyone who understands the transcendental activities, the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is to be considered liberated. Okay, student. So Brahma, therefore, is a liberated soul. Although he is in charge of this material world, he is not exactly like the common living entity. Since he is liberated from the majority of the follies of the common living entities, he was in knowledge of the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he therefore worshipped the Lord's activities, and with a glad heart he also praised Kardamuni, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Kapila appeared as his son. One who can become the father of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is certainly a great devotee. There is a verse spoken by a Brahmana in which he says that he does not know what the Vedas and what the Puranas are. But while others might be interested in the Vedas or Puranas, he is interested in Nanda Maharaj, who appeared as the father of Krishna. He wanted to worship Nanda Maharaj because the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a child crawled in the yard of his house. These are some of the good sentiments of devotees. If a recognized devotee brings forth the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his son, how he should be praised. Brahma, therefore, not only worshipped the incarnation of the person of Godhead, Kapila, but he praised his so-called father, Kardamani. Text 12. Brahmavacha Tvaya me pachitistata kapita nirvyalikata यन्मे संजग्रहे व्याकम भवान manayan Brahma, Lord Brahma, Uvacha said, Tvaya by you, me, my Apachiti worship Tata O son Kalpita is accomplished. Nirvyalikata without duplicity, yet since my Sajagre have completely accepted Vakyam instructions, Bhavan, you, Manda, Manada, O Kardama, one who offers honor to others, Manayan, respect in translation. Lord Brahma said, my dear son Kardama, since you have completely accepted my instructions without duplicity, showing them proper respect, you have worshipped me properly. Whatever instructions you took from me, you have carried out, and thereby you have honored me. Purport. Lord Brahma, as the first living entity within the universe, is supposed to be spiritual master of everyone, and he is also the father, the creator of all beings. Kardamuni is one of the Prajapatis or creators of the living entities, and he is also a son of Brahma. Brahma praises Kardama because he carried out the orders of the spiritual master in toto and without cheating. A conditioned soul in the material world has no disqualification of cheating. He has four disqualifications. He is sure to commit mistakes. He is sure to be illusioned. He is prone to cheat others, and his senses are imperfect. But if anyone carries out the order of the spiritual master by disciplic succession or the parampara system, he overcomes the four defects. Therefore, knowledge received from the bona fide spiritual master is not cheating. Any other knowledge which is manufactured by the conditioned soul is cheating only. Brahma knew well that Kardamuni exactly carried out the instructions received from him and that he actually honored his spiritual master. To honor the spiritual master means to carry out his instruction word for word. Text 13. Etavyata eva sushrusha karya pitari putrakai badham इत्यै अनुमन्येत गौरवेण गुरोर्वचा etavati of to this extent was exactly sushrusha service karya out to be rendered pitari to the father putrakai by the sons vadam iti accepting yes sir anumanyate he should obey Gauravena with due deference. Guru of the Guru Vacha commands. Translation. Sons ought to render service to their father exactly to this extent. One should obey the command of his father or spiritual master with due deference, saying, Yes, sir. Purport. Two words in this verse are very important. One word is Pitre and another word is Guru. The son and the disciple should accept the words of his spiritual master and father. Son or disciple should accept the words of his spiritual master and father without hesitation. Whatever the father and the spiritual master order should be taken without argument. Yes, there should be no instance in which the disciple or the son says, This is not correct, I cannot carry it out. When he says that, he is fallen. The father and the spiritual master are on the same platform because a spiritual master is the second father. The higher classes are called Tvija, twice born. Wherever there is a question of birth, there must be a father. The first birth is made possible by the actual father, and the second birth is made possible by the spiritual master. Sometimes the father or and the spiritual master may be the same man, and sometimes they are different men. In any case, the order of the father or the order of the spiritual master must be carried out without hesitation, with an immediate yes. There should be no argument. That is real service to the father, to the spiritual, and to the spiritual master. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has stated that the order of the spiritual master is the life and soul of the disciples. As man cannot separate his life from his body, so a disciple cannot separate the order of the spiritual master from his life. If a disciple follows the instructions of the spiritual master in that way, he is sure to become perfect. This is confirmed in the Upanishads. The import of Vedic instruction is revealed automatically only to one who has implicit faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and in his spiritual master. One may be materially considered an illiterate man, but if he has faith in the spiritual master as well as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the meaning of the scriptural revelation is immediately manifested before him. Text 14. Scroll down. इमादुहितर सत्यस्तव वत्स सुमाद्य सुमाद्यमाह सर्गम एतं प्रभावै स्वै ब्रह्मैस्यांत्य अनेकदा Imam, this Duhitara, daughter Satya Chestava, your Vatsa, O my dear son, Sumadhyama, thin waisted, Sargam creation, Etam, this Prabhavai, by the descendants, Swai, their own, Brahm Hai Syanti, they will increase, Anekada, in various ways. Translation. Lord Brahma then praised Kardamuni's 9 daughters, saying, All your thin-waisted daughters are certainly very chaste. I am sure they will increase this creation by their own descendants in various ways. Purport. In the beginning of creation, Brahma was concerned more or less with increasing the population, and when he saw Kadamuni had already begotten 9 nice daughters, he was hopeful that through the daughters many children would come who would take charge of the creative principle of the material world. He was therefore happy to see them. The word Sudhyayama is means a good daughter of a beautiful woman. If she is a thin waist, a woman is considered very beautiful. All the daughters of Kardamuni were of the same beautiful feature. Text 15. अतस्त्वं ऋषिर्मुख्येभ्यो यथा शीलं यथा रुचि आत्मजा परिथे अद्य विस्तृणहि यशो भुवि Atha, therefore, Tvam, you, Rishi Mukhebhya, to the foremost sages, Yatha Shilam, according to the temperament, Yatha Ruchi, according to the taste, Atmaja, your daughters, Paridehi, please give away, Adya, today, Vishtrenhi, spread, Yasya, fame, Bhuvi, over the universe. Translation. Therefore, today, Please give away your daughters to the foremost of the sages, with due regard for the girls' temperaments and likings, and thereby spread of your fame all over the universe. Purport: the nine principal rishis or sages are Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulas, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kritau, Phrigu, Vashishta, and Atharva. All these rishis are most important, and Brahma desired that the nine daughters already born of Kardama Muni be handed over to them. Here two words are used very significantly: Yatha Sheelam and Yatha Ruchi. The daughters should be handed over to the respective rishis, not blindly, but according to the combination of character and taste. That is the art of combining a man and a woman. Man and woman should not be united simply on consideration of sex life. There are many considerations, especially character and taste. If the taste and the character of where was I? If the taste and the character differ between the man and woman, their combination will be unhappy. Even about 40 years ago in India, Indian marriages, the taste and the character of the boy and the girl were first of all matched, and then they were allowed to marry. This was done under the direction of respective parents. The parents used to astrologically determine the character and taste of the boy and girl, and when they corresponded, the match was selected. The girl and this boy are just suitable and they should be married. Other considerations were less important. The same system was also advised in the beginning of of the creation by Brahma. Your daughter should be handed over to the rishis according to taste and character. According to the astrological calculation, a person is classified according to whether he belongs to the godly or demonic quality. In that way, the spouse was selected. A girl or godly quality should be handed over to a boy of godly quality. A girl of demonic quality should be handed over to a boy of demonic quality. This then they will be happy. But if the girl of demonic and the boy if the girl is demonic and the boy is godly, then the combination is incompatible and they cannot be happy in such a marriage. At the present moment, because the boys and girls are not married according to the quality and character, most marriages are unhappy and there is divorce. It is foretold in the 12th canto of the Bhagavatam that in this age of Kali, married life will be accepted on the consideration of sex only. When the boy and the girl are pleased in the sex, they get married, and when there is deficiency in sex, they separate. That is not actual marriage, but a combination of men and women like cats and dogs. Therefore, the children produced in the modern age are not exactly human beings. Human beings must be twice born. A child is first born of a good father and mother, and then he is born again of the spiritual master and the Vedas. The first mother and father bring about his birth into the world. Then the spiritual master and the Vedas become his second father and mother. According to the Vedic system of marriage for producing children, every man and woman was enlightened in spiritual knowledge. And at the time of their combination to produce a child, everything was scrutinizingly and scientifically done. Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, we can continue.
Very good. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Oh, Hare Krishna, Pranjal, Prabhu, Tandar, Pran, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandava, Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam to all of you. Jai Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranav Jai Sri Prabhu. Okay, let us continue from text 16. Okay. Vedaham Adyam Purusham Avatirnam Swa Mayaya Bhutanam Svedadhim Deham Bibhranam Kapilam Mune. Synonyms: Veda, no. Aham, I. Adyam, the original. Purusham, enjoyer. Avatirnam, incarnated. Swa Mayaya, by his own internal energy. Bhutanam, of all the living entities. Sevadhim, the bestower of all desired, who is just like a vast treasure. Deham, the body. Vibhanam, assuming. Kapila Muni, Mune, O sage Kardama. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Oh, Kardama, I know that the original personality of Godhead has now appeared as an incarnation by his internal energy. He is the bestower of all desired by the living entities, and he has now assumed the body of Kapila Muni. Purport. In this verse, we find the words Purusham Avatirnam Swa Mayaya. The personality of Godhead is everlastingly, eternally the form of Purusha, the predominator or enjoyer, and when he appears, he never accepts anything of this material energy. The spiritual world is a manifestation of his personal internal potency, whereas the material world is a manifestation of his material or differentiated energy. The word Swamayaya, by his own internal potency, indicates that whenever the Supreme Personality of God descends, he comes in his own energy. He may assume the body of a human being, but that body is not material. In the Bhagavad Gita, therefore, it is clearly stated that only fools and rascals, modhas, consider the body of Krishna to be the body of a common human being. The word Sevadhim means that he is the original. Told down, bro. Is the original bestower of all the necessities of life upon the living entities. In the Vedas also it is stated that he is the chief living entity and he bestows all the desired necessities of other living entities. Because he is the bestower of the necessities of all others, he is called God. The Supreme is also a living entity. He is not impersonal. As we are individual, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also individual, but he is the supreme individual. That is the difference between God and the ordinary living entities. Text 17. Jnana Vijnana Yogena Karmanam Uddharan Jataham Hiranya Keshaha Padmang Padmangshaha Padmakshaha Padma, Mudra, Padambujaha, synonyms, Jnana of spiritual knowledge, Vijnana and application, Yogena by means of mystic yoga, Karmanam of material actions, Uddharan, uprooting, Jataha, the roots, Hiranyakeshaha, golden hair, Padma, Akshaha, lotus eyed, Padma Mudra, marked with the sign of the lotus. Pada Ambujaha, having lotus feet. Translation. By mystic yoga and the practical application of knowledge from the scriptures, Kapila Muni, who is characterized by his golden hair, his eyes just like lotus petals, and his lotus feet, which bear the marks of lotus flowers, will uproot the deep rooted desire for work in this material world. Purport. In this verse, the activities and bodily features of Kapila Muni are very nicely described. The activities of Kapila Muni are forecast herein. He will present the philosophy of Sankhya in such a way that by studying his philosophy, people will be able to uproot the deep-rooted desire for karma, fruitive activities. Everyone in this material world engages in achieving the fruits of the fruits of his labor. A man tries to be happy by achieving the fruits of his own honest labor, but actually he becomes more and more entangled. One cannot get out of this entanglement unless he has perfect knowledge or devotional service. Those who are trying to get out of the entanglement by speculation are also doing their best. But in the Vedic scriptures, we find that if anyone has taken to the devotional service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness, he can very easily uproot the deep-rooted desire for fruitive activities. Sankhya philosophy will be broadcast by Kapila Muni for that purpose. His bodily features are also called herein, are also described herein. Jnana does not refer to ordinary research work. Jnana entails receiving knowledge from the scriptures through the spiritual master by disciplic suction. In the modern age, there is a tendency to do research by mental speculation and concoction. Concoction. But the man who speculates forgets that he himself is subject to the four defects of nature. He is sure to commit mm, commit mistakes. His senses are imperfect. He is sure to fall into illusion and he is cheating. Unless one has perfect knowledge from disciplic suction, he simply puts forth some theories of his own creation. Therefore, he is cheating people. Jnana means knowledge received through disciplic suction from the scriptures, and Vijnana means practical application of such knowledge. Kapila Muni's Sankhya system of philosophy is based on Jnana and Vijnana. Text 18. एष मानवीते गर्भं प्रवृष्टः कैटभार कैटभार्दनः अविद्या संशय ग्रन्थिं चित्वा गां विचरिष्यति. Synonyms. Eshaha, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. Manavi, O daughter of Manu, Te, your Garbham, womb. Pravishtaha has entered. Kaitabha Ardhanaha, the killer of the demon Kaitabha. Avidya, of ignorance. Samshaya, and of doubt. Granthim, the knot. Chitva, cutting off. Gam, the world. Vicharishyati, he will travel over. Translation. Lord Brahma then told Devahuti, my dear daughter of Manu, the same personality of Godhead who killed the demon Kaitabha is now within your womb. He will cut off all the knots of your ignorance and doubt. Then he will travel all over the world. Purport. Here the word avidya is very significant. Avidya means forgetfulness of one's identity. Every one of us is a spirit soul, but we have forgotten. We think I am this body. This is called avidya. Samsaya granthi means doubtfulness. The knot of doubtfulness is tied when the soul identifies with the material world. That knot is also called ahankara, the junction of matter and spirit. By proper knowledge received from the scriptures in disciplic succession and by proper application of that knowledge, one can free himself from this binding combination of matter and spirit. Brahma assures Devahuti that her son will enlighten her, and after enlightening her, he will travel all over the world distributing the system of Sankhya philosophy. The word samsaya means doubtful knowledge. Speculative and pseudo yogic knowledge is all doubtful. At the present moment, the so called yoga system is prosecuted on the understanding that by agitation of the different stations of the bodily construction, one can find that he is God. The mental speculators think similarly, but they are all doubtful. Real knowledge is expounded in the Bhagavad Gita. Just to become Krishna consciousness, just to worship Krishna and become a devotee of Krishna. That is real knowledge. And anyone who follows that system becomes perfect without a doubt. Text 19. Ayam Siddha गणाधीशः सांख्याचार्यैः सुसम्मतः लोके कपिल इत्याख्यां गन्ता ते कीर्तिवर्धनः. Synonyms. I am this personality of Godhead, Siddha Gana of the perfected sages, Adhishaha, the head, Sankhya Acharyaihi, by Acharyas expert in Sankhya philosophy. So, Sammataha, approved according to Vedic principles, Loke, in the world, Kapilaha iti, as Kapila, Akhyam, Akhyam, celebrated, Ganta, he will go about, Te, your, Kirti, fame, Vardhanaha, increasing. Translation: your son will be the head of all the perfected souls. He will be approved by the acharyas, expert in disseminating real knowledge, and among the people he will be celebrated by the Niyam Kapila. As the son of Devavati, he will increase your fame. Purport: Sankhya philosophy is the philosophical system enunciated by Kapila, the son of Devavati. The other Kapila, who is not the son of Devavati, is an imitation. This is the statement of Brahma, and because we belong to Brahma's disciplic section, we should accept this his statement that the real Kapila is the son of Devavati, and that real Sankhya philosophy is the system of philosophy which he introduced and which will be accepted by the Acharyas, the directors of spiritual discipline. The word susammata means accepted by persons who are counted upon to give their good opinion. Text 20. Maitreya vacha tavyaswasya jagat srashtam कुमारैः सह नारदः हंसो हंसेन यानेन त्रिधाम परमं ययौ. Synonyms: Maitreya Vacha. Maitreya said, Tau, the couple, Ashwasya, having reassured, Jagat Srashta, the creator of the universe, Kumaraihi, along with the Kumaras, Saha Naradaha, with Narada, Hamsaha, Lord Brahma, Hamsena, Yanena, by his swan carrier, Tridhama Paramam, to the highest planetary system, Yajau went. Translation: Sri Maitreya said, after the speaking to Kardamuni and his wife Devhuti, Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, who is also known as Hamsa, went back to the highest of the three planetary systems on his swan carrier with the four Kumaras and Narada. Purport: the words Hamsena Yanena are very significant here. Hamsayana, the airplane by which Brahma travels all over outer space, resembles a swan. Brahma is also known as Hamsa because he can grasp the essence of everything. His abode is called Tridhama Paramam. There are three divisions of the universe: the upper planetary system, the middle planetary system, and the lower planetary system. But his abode is above even Siddhaloka, the upper planetary system. He returned to his own planet with the four Kumaras and Narada because they were not going to be married. The other rishis who came with him, such as Marichi and Atri, remained there because they were to be married to the daughters of Kardama, but his other sons, Sanat, Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, and Narada went back with him in his swan shaped airplane. The four Kumaras and Narada are Naishtika Brahmacharis. Naishtika Brahmachari means one who never wastes his seminar at that time, at any time. They were not to attend the marriage ceremony of their other brothers Marichi and other sages, and therefore they went back with their father Hamsa. Text 21. गते शतदृष्टौ दृष्टौ क्षतः कर्दमस्तेन चोदितः यथोदितं स्वदुहित्रः प्राधात् विश्वसृजां ततः. Synonyms: Gate, after he departed. Shata Dhritau, Lord Brahma, Kshattaha, O Vidura, Kardamaha, Kardamuni, Tena, by him, Chojitaha, ordered, Yatha Uditam, as told, Swa Duhitri Yudhitrihi, his own daughters Pradat handed over Visva Srijam to the creators of the world's population Tataha thereafter. Translation: O Vidura, after the departure of Brahma, Kardamuni, having been ordered by Brahma, handed over his 9 daughters as instructed to the 9 great sages who created the population of the world. Texts 22 and 23. Marichaye kalam pradat anasuyam athatreye श्रद्धाम अंगिरे रसे यच्छत पुलत्स्या पुलत्स्याय हविर्भुवं पुलहाय गतिं युक्तां क्रतवे च क्रियां सतीं ख्यातिं च भृगवे यच्छद वसिष्ठायापि अरुन्धतीं. Synonyms: Marichaye, unto Marichi, Kalam, Kala. Pradat, he handed over. Anasuyam, Anasuya, Ata, then. Atre, unto Atri. Shraddham, Shraddha. Angirase, unto Angirasa. Yachat, he gave away. Pulatsyaya, unto Pulatsya. Havirbhuvam, Havirbhu. Pulahaya, unto Pulaha. Gatim, Gati. Yuktam, suitable. Kratave, unto Kratu, cha, and Kriyam, Kriya, Satim, virtuous. Kyatim, Khyati, cha, and Bhrugave, unto Bhrugu. Yachat, he gave away. Vasishtaya, unto the sage Vasishta, Api, also Arundatim, Arundhati. Translation: Kardamuni handed over his daughter Kala to Marichi and another daughter Anasuya to Atri. He delivered Shraddha to Angira and Havirbhu to Pulasya. He delivered Gati to Pulaha, the chaste Kriya to Kratu, Khyati to Bhrugu, and Arundhati to Vasishta. Text 24. अर्थात वर्णे ददाच शांतिम यया यज्ञो वितन्यते विप्रर्षभान् कृतोद्वाहान् सदारान् समलालयत्. Synonyms: अथर्वणे to अथर्वा, अथर्वणे to अथर्वा. Adatat, he gave away. Shantim, Shanti. Yaya, by whom. Yajnaha, sacrifice. Vitanyate, is performed. Vipra Rishabhan, the foremost Brahmanas. Krita Udvahan, married. Sa Daran, with their wives. Sama Lalayat, maintained them. Translation: he delivered Shanti to Atharva. Because of Shanti, sacrificial ceremonies are well performed. Thus, he got the foremost Brahmanas married and he maintained them along with their wives. Text 25. Tatastha Rishayah Kshattah Kritadara Nimantrayatam Pratishthan Nandim Apannah Swam Ashrama Mandalam. Synonyms: Tataha, then. They. Rishayah, the sages. Kshattaha, O Vidura. Krita Daraha, thus married. Nimantraya, taking leave of. Tam Kardama. Pratishtan, they departed. Nandim, joy. Apannaha, obtained. Swam, each to his own. Ashrama Mandalam, hermitage. Translation: thus married, the sages took leave of Kardama and departed full of joy, each for his own hermitage, O Vidra. Text 26. Sa Chavitri Chavitrinam त्रियुगम् आज्ञाय विबुधार्षभम् विविक्त उपसंगम्य प्रणम्य संभाष्टत. Synonyms. Saha, the sage Kardama, Cha, and Avatirnam, descended, Tri Yugam, Vishnu, Ajnaya, having understood, Vibudha Rishabham, the chief of the demigods, Vivikte, in a secluded place, Upasangmaya, having approached, Prashan, Pranamya, offering obeisances, Sambhashtata, Sambhashata, he spoke. Translation. When Kardamuni understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the chief of all the demigods, Vishnu, had descended, he approached him in a secluded place, offered obeisances, and spoke as follows. Purport: Lord Vishnu is called Triyuga. He appears in the three yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara. But in the Kali Yuga, he does not appear. From the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, however, we understand that he appears garbed as a devotee in Kali Yuga. Lord Chaitanya is the devotee. Krishna appeared in the form of a devotee, but although he never disclosed himself, Rupa Goswami could understand his identity, but the Lord cannot hide himself from a pure devotee. Rupa Goswami detected him when he offered his first obeisances to Lord Chaitanya. He knew that he was Krishna himself and therefore offered his obeisances with the following words: I offer my respects to Krishna, who has now appeared as Lord Chaitanya. This is also confirmed in the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. In Kali Yuga, he does not directly appear, but he appears as a devotee. Vishnu, therefore, is known as Triyuga. Another expansion of Triyuga is that he has three pairs of divine attributes, namely power and affluence, piety and renown, and wisdom and dispassion. According to Sridhar Swami, his three pairs of opulences are complete riches and complete strength, complete fame and complete beauty, and complete wisdom and complete renunciation. There are different interpretations of Triyuga, but it is accepted by all learned scholars that Triyuga means Vishnu. When Gardamuni understood that his son Kapila was Vishnu himself, he wanted to offer his obeisances. Therefore, when Kapila was alone, he offered his respects and expressed his mind as follows. Text 27. Aho papachyamānānam nam niraye svair amangalaihi kalena bhuyasa nunam prasidantiha devataha. Synonyms. Aho, oh, prapachyamananam, with those being much afflicted, niraye, in the hellish material entanglement, swaihi, their own, amangalaihi, by misdeeds, kalena bhuyasa, after a long time, nonam, indeed, prasidanti, they are pleased, iha, in this world, devatah, the demigods. Translation. Kardamuni said, oh, after a long time, the demigods of this universe have become pleased with the suffering souls who are in material entanglement because of their own misdeeds. Purport. This material world is a place for suffering which is due to the misdeeds of the inhabitants, the conditioned souls themselves. The sufferings are not extraneously imposed upon them. Rather, they create their own suffering by their own acts. In the forest, fire takes place automatically. It is not that someone has to go there and set a fire, but because of friction among various trees, fire occurs automatically. When there is too much heat from the forest fire of this material world, the demigods, including Brahma himself, being harassed, approach the Lord, the Supreme Personality of God, and appeal to him to alleviate the condition. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends. In other words, when the demigods become distressed by the sufferings of the conditioned souls, they approach the Lord to remedy the suffering, and the personality of Godhead descends. When the Lord descends, all the demigods become enlivened. Therefore, Kardamuni said, after many years of human suffering, all the demigods are now satisfied because Kapiladev, the incarnation of Godhead, has appeared. Text 28. Bahujanma vipakvena samyag yoga samadhina drashtum yatante yatayaham शून्यागारेषु यत्पदम. Synonyms: bahu, many; janma, after births; vipak, vena, which is mature; samyak, perfect; yoga, samadhina, by trance in yoga; drashtum, to see; yatante, they endeavor; yatayaha, the yogis; shunya agareshu, in secluded place; yat, whose, padam, feet. Translation: after many births, mature yogis by complete trance in yoga endeavor in secluded places to see the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport: some important things are mentioned here about yoga. The word Bahujanma Vipakvena means after many births of mature yoga practice, and another word Samyug Yoga Samadhina means by complete practice of the yoga system. Complete practice of yoga means Bhakti Yoga. Unless one comes to the point of Bhakti Yoga or surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's yoga practice is not complete. This same point is corroborated in the Bhagavad Gita. Bahunam Janmanam Ante. After many births, the Jnani who has matured in transcendental knowledge surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kardamuni repeats the same statement after many years and many births of complete practice of yoga. One can see the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord in a secluded place. It is not that after one it is not that after one practices some sitting postures, he immediately becomes perfect. One has to perform yoga a long time, many births, to become mature. And a yogi has to practice in a secluded place. One cannot practice yoga in a city or in a public park and declare that he has become God simply by some exchange of dollars. This is all bogus propaganda. Those who are actually yogis practice in a secluded place, and after many births, they become successful provided they surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is the completion of yoga. Text 29. Sa eva bhagavan adya helanam na ganaya naha गृहेषु जातो ग्राम्याणां नाम यः स्वानां पक्ष पोषणः. Synonyms: Saha eva, that very same Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adya, today, Helanam, negligence, na, not Ganaya, considering high and low, Naha, our Griheshu, in the houses, Jataha, appeared, Gramyanam, of or dinary householders, Yaha, he who, Swanam, of his own devotees, Paksha, Poshanaha, who supports the party. Translation: not considering the negligence of ordinary householders like us, that very same Supreme Personality of God appears in our homes just to support his devotees. Purport: devotees are so affectionate towards the Personality of Godhead that although he does not appear before those who practice yoga in a secluded place, even for many births, he agrees to appear in a householder's home when devotees engage in devotional service without material yoga practice. In other words, devotional service to the Lord is so easy that even a householder can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead as one of the members of his household, as his son, as Kardama Muni experienced. He was a householder, although a yogi, but he had the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapila Muni, as his son. Devotional service is such a powerful transcendental method that it surpasses all other methods of transcendental realization. The Lord says, therefore, that he lives neither in Vaikuntha nor in the heart of a yogi, but he lives where his pure devotees are always chanting and glorifying him. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Bhaktavatsala. He is never described as Jnanavatsala or Yogi Vatsala. He is always described as Bhaktavatsala because he is more inclined towards his devotees than towards other transcendentalists. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that only a devotee can understand him as he is. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. One can understand me only by devotional service, not otherwise. That understanding alone is real because although jnanis, mental speculators, can realize only the effulgence or the bodily luster of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and yogis can realize only the practical representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A bhakta not only realizes him as he is, but he also associates with the Personality of Godhead face to face. Text 30. स्वीयं वाक्यं वृतं कर्तुम् अवतीर्णोऽसि मे गृहे चिकीर्षुर्भगवान् ज्ञानं भक्तानां मानवर्धनः. Synonyms: Swiyam, your own; Vakyam, words; Ritam, true; Kartum, to make; Avatirnaha, descended; Asi, you are; Me, grihe, in my house; Chikirshuhu, desires to disseminate; Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead; Jnanam, knowledge; Bhaktanam, of the devotees; Mana, the honor; Vardhanaha, who increases. Translation: Kardamuni said, my dear Lord, you who are always increasing the honor of your devotees have descended in my home just to fulfill your word and disseminate the process of real knowledge. Purport: when the Lord appeared before Kardamuni after his mature yoga practice, he promised that he would become his son. He descended as the son of Kardamuni in order to fulfill that promise. Another purpose of his appearance is Chikirshur Bhagavan Jnanam, to distribute knowledge. Therefore, he is called Bhaktanam Mana Vardhanaha, he who increases the honor of his devotees. By distributing Sankhya, he would increase the honor of the devotees. Therefore, Sankhya philosophy is not dry mental speculation. Sankhya philosophy means devotional service. How could the honor of the devotees be increased unless Sankhya were meant for devotional service? Devotees are not interested in speculative knowledge. Therefore, the Sankhya enunciated by Kapila Muni is meant to establish one firmly in devotional service. Real knowledge and real liberation is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage in devotional service. Text 31. Tyanyeva te bhirupaani रूपाणि भगवांस्तवा यानि यानि च रोचन्ते स्वजानानाम् आरूपिणः नः. Synonyms: Tani, those; Eva, truly; Te, your; Abhirupani, suitable; Rupani, forms; Bhagavan, O Lord; Tava, your; Yani Yani, whichever; Cha, and; Rochante, are pleasing; Swajananam, to your own devotees; Arupi Naha, of one with no material form. Translation: my dear Lord, although you have no material form, you your own innumerable forms. They truly are your transcendental forms which are pleasing to your devotees. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Lord is one absolute, but he has ananta or innumerable forms. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam. The Lord is the original form, but still he has multi forms. Those multiforms are manifested by him transcendentally according to the tastes of his multi devotees. It is understood that once Hanuman, the great devotee of Lord Ramachandra, said that he knew that Narayana, the husband of Lakshmi, and Rama, the husband of Sita, are one and the same, and that there is no difference between Lakshmi and Sita, but as for himself, he liked the form of Lord Rama. In a similar way, some devotees worship the original form of Krishna. When we say Krishna, we refer to all forms of the Lord, not only Krishna, but Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, Narayana, etc. The varieties of transcendental forms exist simultaneously. That is also stated in the Brahma Samhita, Ramadi Murtishu. Nana Vartaram. He already exists in multi forms, but none of the forms are material. Sridhar Swami has commented that Arupinaha without form means without material form. The Lord has form. Otherwise, how can it be stated here? Tanyevate Rupani Bhagavamstava. You have your forms, but they are not material. Materially, you have no form, but spiritually, transcendentally, you have multiple forms, multiforms. Mayadi philosophers cannot understand these transcendental forms of the Lord, and being disappointed, they say that the Supreme Lord is impersonal. But that is not a fact. Whenever there is form, there is a person. Many times in many Vedic literatures, the Lord is described as Purusha, which means the original form, the original enjoyer. The conclusion is that the Lord has no material form, and yet, according to the liking of different grades of devotees, he simultaneously exists in multi forms such as Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, Narayana, and Mukunda. There are many thousands and thousands of forms, but they are all Vishnu Tattva, Krishna. Text 32. Tvam Suribhistatva Bubhutsayadha Sadabhivadarhana Pada Pitham Aishwarya Vairagyo Yasho Vabodha Viryasriya Purtam Aham Prapadye. Synonyms. Tvam, unto you. Suri by the great sages. Tattva, the absolute truth. Bhuvutsvaya, with a desire to understand. Adha, certainly. Sada, always. Abhivada, of worshipful respects. Arhana, which are worthy. Pada, of your feet. Petham, to the seat. Aishwarya, opulence. Vairagya, renunciation. Yashaha, fame. Avabodha, knowledge. Virya, strength. Shriya, with beauty. Purtam, who are full. Aham, I. Prapadye, surrender. Translation, my dear Lord, your lotus feet are the reservoir that always deserves to receive worshipful homage from all great sages eager to understand the absolute truth. You are full in opulence, renunciation, transcendental fame, knowledge, strength, and beauty, and therefore I surrender myself unto your lotus feet. Purport. Actually, those who are searching after the absolute truth must take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and worship Him. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna advised Arjuna many times to surrender unto Him, especially at the end of the ninth chapter, Manmana Bhava Madbhakta. If you want to be perfect, just always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your obeisances to me. In this way, you will understand me, the personality of Godhead, and ultimately you will come back to me, back to Godhead, back home. Why is it so? The Lord is always full in six opulences, as mentioned here in wealth, renunciation, fame, knowledge, strength, and beauty. The word portam means in full. No one can claim that all wealth belongs to him, but Krishna can claim it since he has full wealth. Similarly, he is full in knowledge, renunciation, strength, and beauty. He is full in everything, and no one can surpass him. Another one of Krishna's name is Asamaudzva, which means that no one is equal to or greater than him. Text 33. Param Pradhanam Purusham Mahantam Kalam Kavim Trivritam Lokapalam Atmanu Bhutyanu Prapancham Swachanda Shaktim Kapilam Prapadye. Synonyms: Param, transcendental; Pradhanam, supreme; Purusham, person; Mahantam, who is the origin of the material world; Kalam, who is time; Kabim, fully cognizant; Trivrittam, three modes of material nature; Lokapalam, who is the maintainer of all the universes; Atma, in himself; Anubhutya, by internal potency; Anugata, dissolved; Prapancham, whose material manifestations; Swachanda, independently; Shaktim, who is powerful; Kapilam, to Lord Kapila; Prapadye, I surrender. Translation: I surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, descended in the form of Kapila, who is independently powerful and transcendental, who is the Supreme Person and the Lord of the sum total of matter and element of time, who is the fully cognizant maintainer of all the universes under the three modes of material nature, and who absorbs the material manifestations after their dissolution. Purport: the six opulences, wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, are indicated here by Kardamuni, who addresses Kapila Muni, his son, as Param. The word Param is used in the beginning of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in the phrase Param Satyam to refer to the Samam Bonam or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Param is explained further by the next word Pradhanam, which means the chief, the origin, the source of everything, Sarvakarana Karanam, the cause of all causes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not formless. He is Purusham, or the enjoyer, the original person. He is the time element, and is all cognizant. He knows everything, past, present, and future, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says, I know everything, present, past, and future, in every corner of the universe. The material world, which is moving under the spell of the three modes of nature, is also a manifestation of his energy. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. Everything that we see is an interaction of his energies. Shvetaupanishad 680. Parasya Brahmanah Shaktihi Tadhedham Akhilam Jagatam. This is the version of the Vishnu Purana. We can understand that whatever we see is an interaction of the three modes of material nature, but actually it is all an interaction of the Lord's energy, Lokapalam. He is actually the maintainer of all living entities, Nityo Nityanam. He is the chief of all living entities. He is one, but he maintains many living entities. God maintains all other living entities, but no one can maintain God. That is his Swachhanda Shakti. He is not dependent on others. Someone may call himself independent, but he is still dependent on someone higher. The personality of Godhead, however, is absolute. There is no one higher than or equal to him. Kapila appeared as the son of Kardamuni, but because he is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kardamuni offered his respectful obeisances unto him with full surrender. Another word in this verse is very important. Atmanubhutyanugata prapancham. The Lord descends either as Kapila or Rama Nrsimha or Varaha, and whatever forms he assumes in the material world are all manifestations of his own personal internal energy. They are never the forms of the material energy. The ordinary living entities who are manifested in this material world have bodies created by the material energy. But when Krishna or any one of his expansions or parts of the expansions descends on this material world, although he appears to have a material body, his body is not material. He always has a transcendental body. But fools and rascals who are called Mudhas consider him one of them and therefore they deride him. They refuse to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God because they cannot understand him. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Avajananti mam mudhaha. Those who are rascals and fools deride me. When God descends in a form, this does not mean that he assumes his form with the help of the material energy. He manifests his spiritual form as he exists in his spiritual kingdom. Text 34. आसमाभिपृच्छेद्य पतिं प्रजानां त्वयावतीर्न उताप्ता कामः परिव्रजत् पदवीम् आथितोऽहं चरिष्ये त्वां हृदि युज्ञ विशोकः synonyms asma abhipriche. I am inquiring adya now patim the Lord prajanam of all created beings tvaya by you avit avatirna rinaha free from debts uta and apata fulfilled kamaha desires parivrachat of all itinerant mendicant mendicate padavim the path astitah accepting aham I charishye I shall wander tvam you hridi in my heart yujna yujna keeping vishokah free from lamentation. Translation: today I have something to ask from you, who are the Lord of all living entities. Since I have now been liberated by you from my debts to my father, and since all my desires are fulfilled, I wish to accept the order of an itinerant mendicant. Renouncing this family life, I wish to wander around free from lamentation, thinking always of you in my heart. Purport. Actually, sannyas or renunciation of material household life necessitates complete absorption in Krishna consciousness and immersion in the self. One does not take sannyasa, freedom from family responsibility, in the renounced order of life to make another family or to create an embracing transcendental fraud in the name of sannyasa. The sannyasi's business is not to become proprietor of so many things and amass money from the innocent public. A sannyasi is proud that he is always thinking of Krishna within himself. Of course, there are two kinds of devotees of the Lord. One is called Goshtyanandi, which means those who are preachers and have many followers for preaching the glories of the Lord, and who live amongst those many followers just to organize missionary activities. Other devotees are Atmanandi or self-satisfied and do not take the risk of preaching one. They remain therefore alone with God. In this classification was Kardamuni. He wanted to be free from all anxieties and remain alone within his heart with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Parivraja means all itinerant mendicant. Oh, a mendicant sannyasi should not live anywhere for more than 3 days. He must be always moving because his duty is to move from door to door and enlighten people about Krishna consciousness. Text 35. Sri Bhagavanuvacha Maya proktam hi lokasya pramanam satya lokike अथा जनी मया तुभ्यं यदवोच्चमृतं मुने synonyms. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the personality of Godhead said, Maya, by me, Proktam, spoken, he, in fact, Lokasya, for the people, Pramanam, authority, Satya, spoken in scripture, Lokike, and in ordinary speech, Atha, therefore, Ajani, there was birth, Maya, by me, Tubhyam, to you, yet that which, Avocham, I said, Ritam, true, Mune, O sage. Translation. The personality of Godhead Kapila said, whatever I speak, whether directly or in the scriptures, is authoritative in all respects for the people of the world. O Muni, because I told you before that I would become your son, I have descended to fulfill this truth. Purport. Kaddamuni was to leave his family life to completely engage in the service of the Lord. But since he knew that the Lord himself, as Kapila, had taken birth in his home as his own son, why was he preparing to leave home to search out self realization or God realization? God himself was present in his home. Why should he leave home? Such a question may certainly arise. But here it is said that whatever is spoken in the Vedas and whatever is practiced in accordance with the injunctions of the Vedas is to be accepted as authoritative in society. Vedic authority says that a householder must leave home after his 15th year, 50th year. Panchashordharvam vanam prajet. One must leave his family life and enter the forest after the age of 50. This is an authoritative statement of the Vedas based on the division of social life into four departments of activity: Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. Kadamuni practiced yoga very rigidly as a brahmachari before his marriage, and he became so powerful and attained so much mystic power that his father Brahma ordered him to marry and beget children as a householder. Kardamoni did that also. He begot 9 good daughters and one son, Kapila Muni, and thus his household duty was also performed nicely, and now his duty was to leave. Even though he had the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his son, he had to respect the authority of the Vedas. This is a very important lesson. Even if one has God in his home as his son, he should still follow the Vedic injunctions. It is stated, Mahajano yena gataha sa pantaha. One should traverse the path which is followed by great personalities. Kaddamuni's example is very instructive, for in spite of having the supreme personality of God and as his son, he left home just to obey the authority of the Vedic injunction. Kaddamuni states here the main purpose of his leaving home. While traveling all over the world as a mendicant, he would always remember the supreme personality of Godhead within his heart and thereby be freed from all the anxieties of material existence. In this age of Kali Yuga, sannyasa is prohibited because persons in this age are all Sudras and cannot follow the rules and regulations of sannyasa life. It is very commonly found that so-called sannyasis are addicted to nonsense, even to having private relationships with women. This is the abominable situation in this age. Although they dress themselves as sannyasis, they still cannot free themselves from the four principles of sinful life, namely illicit sex life, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. Since They are not freed from these four principles. They are cheating the public by posing as swamis. In Kali Yuga, the injunction is that no one should accept sannyasa. Of course, those who actually follow the rules and regulations must take sannyasa. Generally, however, people are unable to accept sannyasa life, and therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stressed Kalo nasti eva nasti eva gatir anyatha. In this age, there is no other alternative than to chant the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. The main purpose of sannyasa life is to be in constant companionship with the Supreme Lord, either by thinking of Him within the heart or hearing of Him through oral reception. In this age, hearing is more important than thinking because one's thinking may be disturbed by mental agitation. But if one concentrates on hearing, he will be forced to associate with the sound vibration of Krishna. Krishna and the sound vibration Krishna are non-different. So, if one loudly vibrates Hare Krishna, he will be able to think of Krishna immediately. This process of chanting is the best process of Vedic, the best process of self-realization in this age. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya preached it so nicely for the benefit of all humanity.
Haribol. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, now it's
Thank you.
becoming too late again. We have to go sleep. Okay, let's chant the six Astakam prayers. Who would like to start?
You can start, Prabhu.
Sure, carry on, bro.
चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यापदो जीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
नाम्नामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिस्तत्रार्पितानि अमिता स्मरणेन कालाय तादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमिदर्शमिहा जानिनानुरागः त्रिनादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना मानिना मानदेन कीर्तनीया सदा हरि न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितं वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि
निज किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधो कृपया तव पादपङ्कजस्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गदगदहृदया गिराकुलकर्णिचितं उपदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमिषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्द विरहिणमे आश्लिष्य वा पादरतां पिनष्टुवां प्रदर्शनां मर्मातां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा ददातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव न परः
Haribol, glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In this transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of your kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by chanting your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the
One
holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want to causeless devotional service birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me one of the items of your lotus feet. O my Lord, when may my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name. When will my voice choke up? When will the heads of my body stand up at the recitation of your name? Oh, Govinda, feeling the separation and considering a moment like 12 years or more. Tears of time from your eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the void in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord. He shall remain so even if he handles me roughly in his embrace or makes me broken intent by not being present of him. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. श्री शिव शास्त्रकन की जय श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की
Jai.
जय
Jai. Baujanma Karayadi Shravana Kirtan Taputana Pada Krishna Pada Premadan. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many birds, he will not get the love of God. That is the ultimate goal of this chanting. The 10 offenses against the holy name are as follows. The first offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense is to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Third offense is to disobey the orders of spiritual master or consider him as an ordinary person. Fourth offense is to blaspheme Vedic literature or literature and pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth
Fifth
offense
offense,
is to consider.
yes,
Yes, Prabhu, continue.
to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination.
Sixth offense to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh offense is to commit sinful activities on the holy name of the Lord. Eighth
Eighth
offense to
offense,
consider the chanting.
to consider the chanting of the Hare Krishna To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, Karma Kanda.
Ninth offense is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. And tenth offense is to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names or to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to clearly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Now let us all offer respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vansha kalpatarupishya kripa sindhu bhavacha
Patitanam
patitanam
Pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavyo
Namo
namo namo. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय श्री
Jai,
प्रभुपाद की जय
Jai,
निताय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhus, for your association. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Everyone, please join Q&A session tomorrow. Hari Bol.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.